Tonight, court sets November 20 for judgment in Nnamdi Kanu's alleged terrorism case after failing to open his defense. As part of continuing national consultations over alleged genocide, President Bola Tinubu meets with Sultan of Sokoto and Speaker of House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin. All is now set for the Anambra state governorship election, with electoral bodies, security operatives and residents expressing full readiness for the exercise. And thousands of flights are either cancelled or delayed in the U.S. following disruptions to air traffic control caused by the government shutdown.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's stock market value drops by 2.8 trillion naira in 5 consecutive days of losses on fears over federal government's proposed 25% capital gains tax set to take effect in January.
And on sports news tonight, Nigeria's goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie shortlisted for FIFA Best Women's Goalkeeper Award.
And from the nation's capital, crisis in the PDP is far from over as acting chairman Abdulrahman Mohammed inaugurates new board of trustees for the party.
We begin tonight from the courts. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja has scheduled November the 20th for judgment in the terrorism case involving the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The judge set the date after Mr. Kanu failed to open his defense, despite being given 6 days by the court to do so. Our correspondent Emanuela Ekele reports.
The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, arrives at the Federal High Court Abuja, where he's expected to open his defense yet again in the ongoing trial on alleged terrorism instituted against him by the federal government. The trial judge, Justice James Omotosho, had given him 6 days to conduct his defense and even exceeded time or waived his rights if he failed to do so. At the resumed hearing, the court stood down to allow Kanu file a fresh motion. Among other points in his motion, Kanu urged the court to expunge from its record the plea of not guilty entered by him, claiming it was based on deception and in defiance of the Supreme Court's decision. Kanu further asked the court to hold that the charges disclosed no offense known to law, as they were allegedly based on a repealed terrorism law. Responding, counsel to the federal government, Adegboyega Awomolo said that there was no need to file any counter-affidavit to Kanu's motion. He stated that the prosecution was relying on the court's records and urged the judge to take judicial notice of the relevant legal developments. Mr. Awomolo added that the defendant was simply refusing to enter his defense, stressing that the trial was being conducted within the ambit of the law. He urged the court to adjourn for judgment. In his ruling, Justice Omotosho reiterated the court's position that no ruling or preliminary objection will be determined at this stage. He noted that the case had received accelerated hearing after it was reassigned to him earlier this year. The judge observed that multiple adjournments were granted at the instance of the defendant, who sought to cross-examine prosecution witnesses. He recalled that Kanu's no-case submission was earlier overruled, and the defendant was directed to open his defense. Justice Omotosho emphasized that the court had ensured fair hearing, but noted that Kanu, despite initially agreeing to enter his defense, abandoned it and began claiming that there was no existing law under which he was being tried. He said the defendant had not demonstrated seriousness in the proceedings, adding that he had personally appealed to Kanu to present his defense and engage a legal expert. Citing Supreme Court authorities, Justice Omotosho held that if a defendant fails to utilize the opportunity of fair hearing, the court cannot compel him to enter his defense. The judge ruled that it was on this basis that Mr. Kanu had waived his right to defend and subsequently fixed November 20 for judgment. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
As discussions intensify over allegations of genocide against Christians in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu has held a series of high-level consultations. Today, he met with the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Saad Abubakar, alongside the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, at the presidential villa in Abuja. This meeting followed an earlier engagement in the week with the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, Most Reverend Ignatius Kegama, also held at the State House. While details of the discussions were not disclosed to journalists, the consultations are widely believed to be part of ongoing efforts by the federal government to strengthen religious harmony and ease rising tension across the country. This development is coming amid renewed international commentary on Nigeria's security challenges, with U.S. President Donald Trump recently alleging Nigerian government's complicity in attacks on Christian communities. The Presidential Committee on the Overhaul and Revamp of Training Institutions for Security Agencies has pledged to produce a comprehensive blueprint for the rehabilitation of security training facilities across Nigeria. The chairman of that committee and Governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, gave this assurance during an inspection visit of the abandoned Nigeria Police Training School in Nonwatai in Rivers State. Governor Mba was joined on the tour by committee members, including the Governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, the former Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, and Assistant Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu.
The Presidential Committee on the Evaluation of National Security Training Facilities lands at Port Harcourt International Airport and heads to the River State Government House, where Governor Siminalayi Fubara receives them. Led by the Enugu State Governor, Peter Mba, the delegation, including Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, retired IGP, Usman Alkali Baba, and the AIG, Olatunji Disu, is in River State to assess the condition of the police training school. From the Government House, the committee, escorted by Governor Fubara, proceed to the Nonwatai Police Training School, greeted by a police guard of honor. What they saw was a shocking sight: collapsed roofs, cracked walls, broken hostels, classrooms, dining halls, offices, and an overgrown parade ground paint a picture of neglect. After a tour led by the commandant, Governor Mba says President Tinubu is committed to restoring the dignity of the police and NSCDC.
The President recognizes that security is paramount, and it is the primary responsibility of any government. And you may already know that there has been an approval by Mr. President to recruit 30,000 new personnel for the police force, and there is no way that recruitment would happen if we do not have a training grant for these men and women that protect our communities.
Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun emphasizes a coordinated, fast-tracked approach to submit the committee's comprehensive report within a month.
There are about 8 governors involved in this exercise. It's to commend Mr. President. He's been in office 2 years, 3-4 months, and with all that he has going on, he's considered this an extreme priority. He's trying to ensure that we have socio-economic stability, but he's also recognized that we cannot achieve all his macroeconomic policies desired without this very key enabler, which is provision of security. You cannot achieve provision of security if you don't have motivated law enforcement officers, and of course the policemen are the ones that are boots on the ground, that are in charge of internal security.
Governor Siminalayi Fubara notes that the federal government's overhaul of security training sends a strong signal, reassuring Nigerians about their safety.
What is important here is that the president has come out to make a bold statement that he wants the police officers that will be trained, that will be engaged, to come out professionally. And I strongly believe that with the situation of our country today, it is not a mere talking. He meant every word he has said.
The River State Police Training School, established in the 1970s, last trained officers in 2022. The renewed federal focus comes amid growing national and international concern over Nigeria's security architecture.
With the Anambra governorship election just hours away, key stakeholders, especially the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and various security agencies, are intensifying their final preparations. From personnel deployment to logistic coordination, officials are assuring the public of a free, fair, transparent and credible electoral process.
A day to the governorship election in Anambra State, preparations are in top gear towards achieving a hitch-free exercise.
Professor Joash Ojo Amopiton, SAN.
It's the first assignment for the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopiton, who has at different meetings reiterated the commission's readiness to conduct a credible exercise.
Let me reassure you that INEC is fully prepared for this election and have deployed Biomedical Voters Accreditation System, BVAS, for voters' authentication and upload of result to INEC Result Viewing Portal, IREF. We have accredited those that have the role to play during the election, and we are providing sufficient and adequate technical support to handle any eventuality.
Professor Amopiton has been giving updates on the voter register, personnel deployments, logistics involved in the distribution of sensitive materials, and all other arrangements put in place by the Commission for a smooth run.
For the movement I want to inform you that one of the values we are adding is to bring additional 10 resident electoral commissioners to join the Anambra State REC to ensure that election is well conducted in this state. This is the first time it is happening anywhere.
And from the police comes a pledge to ensure adequate security before, during and after the election.
The Nigerian Police Force has activated a zero-tolerance enforcement protocol to ensure total compliance with the Electoral Act and related laws. Our professionalism will be matched by decisiveness, our restraint by precision. Electoral offenses will be treated as criminal violations of national security, not mere political misconduct.
114 observer groups, 76 media organizations, and over 500 journalists have been accredited to provide comprehensive coverage of the election. About 50,000 police personnel have also been deployed to Anambra State to ensure every polling unit is fully manned.
In part two, after the break, more on Anambra governorship election as residents express their readiness and responsibility. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television, Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Court sets November 20 for judgment in Nnamdi Kanu's alleged terrorism case after failing to open his defense. As part of continuing national consultations over alleged genocide, President Bola Tinubu meets with Sultan of Sokoto and Speaker of House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin. All is now set for the Anambra State governorship election, with electoral body, security operatives and residents all expressing full readiness for the exercise. And thousands of flights are either cancelled or delayed in the U.S. following disruptions to air traffic control caused by government shutdown. on the Anambra election, civil society organizations are also adding their voices ahead of that election, offering varied assessments of the level of preparedness. At a series of press briefings held in Awka, the state capital, the grounds and groups underscored both the challenges and areas requiring improvements to ensure a smooth and credible electoral process.
With just a few hours to the Anambra governorship election, different civil society organizations are giving their observations so far. At this venue in Awka, the Situation Room is briefing with a challenge to the electoral umpire.
Credible conduct of this poll will reinforce public trust in the democratic process in the Southeast and contribute to national momentum for deepening democracy in Nigeria.
Elsewhere, another coalition led by Elect Her, a CSO focused on women groups, reveals they will be deploying 100 election monitors tomorrow. They also question gender inclusion in the process.
Under the gender election watch issue, Nnamdi will deploy 100 trained stationary observers across the 21 local government areas using a random sampling method to ensure representative coverage and improve the gender election watch app.
Speaking to our correspondent, however, a board member for Yaga Africa says she's optimistic at the process as both INEC and the police have done their jobs.
The preparations before the elections are okay, and now I think it's for us to wait and see what happens tomorrow. The election is less than 24 hours from now. On the part of security agencies, I know that INEC has what is called ICSES, that is Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, where all the security agencies are part and parcel of election. I know that INEC has been having meetings with the ICSES, and I believe that the security agencies will go and do what they are supposed to do professionally.
As the countdown to the polls continues, the voices from civil society are clear. The people of Anambra are ready to vote, and all eyes will be on INEC to deliver a process that is peaceful, transparent, and credible. Charles Sopurum, Channels Television News.
Well, ahead of that Saturday governorship election in Anambra, the State Police Command has also announced a restriction of movement from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. aimed at ensuring voters can exercise their civic rights without interference. In response to that directive, many residents have been seen engaging in last-minute shopping to stock up essentials before the restriction takes effect. Our correspondent Eitope Kutei reports.
This is the popular Ekeoko market in Awka, the Anambra state capital, less than 24 hours to Saturday's governorship election. Residents eager to exercise their civic responsibility at the polls rush to complete their last-minute shopping before the restriction of movement takes effect at midnight. The increase in activities around the market leads to heavy flow of human and vehicular traffic. Some of them raise concerns about security, vote buying, and the credibility of INEC, urging both security agencies and electoral officials to remain non-partisan and ensure a peaceful and transparent process.
Well, my expectation from the look of things, I believe is going to be peaceful. They should ensure that they provide adequate security in the polling units.
Everybody should come out and vote and let the person they want. No? They should decide their franchise and me.
Fair and credible election. That's the advice I have for them.
In another part of town, a civil society organization, TAF Africa, appeals to all political actors, security agencies, and citizens of Anambra State to respect the peace accord signed by the candidates, as non-adherence may affect persons with disabilities who already face many barriers.
The 2025 Anambra State governorship election presents a vital opportunity to assess how far Nigeria has progressed in guaranteeing equal electoral participation for citizens with disabilities. TAF Africa's observation mission aims to provide an evidence-based evaluation of INEC's compliance with the provisions of Section 54, 1 and 2 of the Electoral Act 2022.
As residents of Anambra State prepare to head to the polls in less than 24 hours, the call for peace and credibility remains loud and clear. From civil society groups to citizens, the message remains the same. Let the vote count. From Oka, the Anambra State capital, Eyito Kwakute, Channels Television News.
We head to the nation's capital, Abuja now, where Gloria Mezoke is standing by to bring us more stories on the news at 10. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you, Anne. We begin with the People's Democratic Party, PDP, under the leadership of its acting national chairman, Abdurrahman Mohammed, which has inaugurated a new board of trustees. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony held at the official residence of the FCT minister in Abuja, Mr. Mohammed stated that the move is aimed at restoring the party's core values and rebuilding public confidence. Our correspondent, Kumbi Aboluwade, reports.
These members of the People's Democratic Party, led by the acting national chairman, Mr. Mohammed Abdurrahman, have converged here at the official residence of the FCT minister in Abuja to deliberate on some internal affairs. Top on the agenda is the inauguration of a new board of trustees with representation from all the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, and the acting national chairman gives reason for this move.
This board of trustees is not just a statutory organ. It is a symbol of rebel and represents our collective decision to return the PDP to its moral center. The previous board of trustees, led by Senator Adams Wabara, sadly lost moral balance. In spite of that noble institution, the credibility of the leadership had become heavily questioned, and its continued rule of national adversary manners became untenable.
After his speech, the meeting resolves into a closed-door session. Few minutes after, the meeting reconvenes and announces Mr. Mao Ohabunwa as the new chairman of the party's board of trustees, while Issa Dansidi is the secretary of the BOT. They are immediately sworn in. The new chairman proceeds to give his acceptance speech, promising to uphold the constitution of the party, stating some of the resolutions reached during the closed-door meeting.
I want to thank you, my colleagues, for electing us, for finding us worthy. And I want to assure you on behalf of the Secretary that this trust you have placed on us today will not be misplaced. Furthermore, the BOT reaffirms that the judgment of the Federal High Court remains superior and weightier in law than the interim order of any other court, any other state court, including the Oyo State High Court. In view of the fact that the Federal High Court judgment has been appealed, prudence and respect for judicial processes demand that the proposed National Convention be postponed until the Court of Appeal delivers its decision or judgment. That is the way to go.
These new members of the Board of Trustees now have their work cut out for them, as they've been charged to maintain fairness and transparency in their dealings and restore the past glory of the party. From Abuja, Kumbi Aboluwade, Channels Television News.
The Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, has announced the establishment of a technical inquiry team to investigate the collapse of one of its newly commissioned water schemes in Gwara community in Kana local government area of River State. The facility, which was commissioned on Wednesday, reportedly failed shortly after being put to use, an incident HYPREP describes as unusual, noting that none of the existing 16 water schemes have experienced a similar breakdown.
And steps we have taken from when this incident happened to this point, which includes the proactive measure or step taken by the project coordinator to quickly constitute a committee to immediately investigate this matter. Third is to sympathize with the Guara community over this unfortunate incident, because just like it is the case, they may not have water for the period, but also to assure them that water, this damaged facility will be restored as quickly as possible, and then water will be restored. Fourth, to equally inform you the fact that there is no compromise on the quality of all HYPREP projects. And that is because HYPREP has put in place consultants who check for quality control and quality assurance. And it is in line with our commitment to delivering quality projects to the people of Ogoni.
Still ahead on the news at 10, market value shares 2.8 trillion naira in 5-day sell-off as proposed 25% capital gains tax trigger investor panic. And that's some business news. Let's join us again. Welcome back as you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. Nigeria has inched closer to becoming a global leader in media education following UNESCO's provisional approval for the establishment of a Media and Information Literacy Institute in Abuja. The proposed center is expected to play a key role in combating misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech, challenges that have become increasingly prominent in the digital area. The development also marks a strengthened partnership which aligns with UNESCO's wider mission to promote media freedom and informed public engagement worldwide. Our correspondent Victoria Longjohn reports.
Welcome, dear Vice Chair.
It's an impressive gathering of UNESCO member states and other delegates at this side event of the ongoing 43rd UNESCO General Conference in Samarkand, Uzbekistan.
From climate change, disinformation.
Pertinent on the agenda of the meeting is Nigeria's bid to host UNESCO's first Category 2 International Media and Information Literacy Institute.
Nigeria affirms its strong dedication to...
After hours of deliberations, the approval was granted unopposed by member states.
It is proposed that we approve the designation of International Media and Information Literacy Institute in Abuja as an institute under the auspices of UNESCO Category 2, as recommended by the Executive Board in 222X Decision 19.9. Are there any comments? I see no comments, objections, so we approve this paragraph.
The Ministry of Information and National Orientation, which has been at the forefront of this milestone, says the approval signals a strong vote of confidence on Nigeria, crowning a long and dedicated journey that began in October 2022.
The decision to grant Nigeria the hosting rights for the world's first Category 2 UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Institute is not just an honor, but a strong vote of confidence in our nation. We accept this responsibility with a deep sense of purpose and a commitment to global leadership in this important area. The designation of IMILI as a Category 2 center comes at a pivotal moment, not just for Nigeria, but for the global community and Africa in particular.
Outside the hall, some members of the Nigerian delegation hailed the global approval, saying the center will be a valuable resource in promoting critical thinking and media professionalism.
The proposal came from Nigeria. It wasn't just borrowed from the UNESCO. And the idea was sold to the world. And they bought it. That means Nigerians have good brains to have brought out this good idea. And to say, for the first time, let's begin to hear good news from Nigeria.
This is an institute that's supposed to operate independently. There should be no interference whatever, which means the organizational structure should be on its own, the funding, and of course the budgeting And in fact, the programming, the activities, all has to be independent.
With this approval, Nigeria hopes to take a leading role in tackling misinformation and building a digital-informed society. Now, the coming months will be very crucial as the federal government works to meet the final requirements of UNESCO in bringing this global media literacy hub, expected to be launched in February 2026, to life. From the venue of the 43rd UNESCO General Conference here in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, Victoria Longjun, Channels Television News.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's now back to Anne in Lagos for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Gloria. In a strategic move to expand its fleet, Air Peace Nigeria Limited has received a new Boeing 737-700 NG aircraft. The Chief Executive Officer of Air Peace Limited, Mr. Allen Onyema, says that this is a milestone achievement for the company and the Nigerian aviation industry, as it is the first dry lease agreement in the aviation industry in a decade.
Air Peace Airline has made another bold statement within the Nigerian aviation sector with the delivery of its latest aircraft, Boeing 737-700 NG, acquired through a dry lease agreement from AirCap Holdings, an Irish-American aviation leasing company. Local and international players in the aviation sector, as well as regulators, gathered to celebrate this achievement.
Because if we fail...
Welcoming the guest, the Chief Executive Officer of Air Peace Limited thanked the federal government of Nigeria for its support, promising that this organization will not let the nation down.
We are here acting on behalf of other Nigerian airlines. But one thing is certain, I promise my country today that Air Peace, by God's grace, will never fail you.
For the international partners, the Nigerian aviation industry is growing, promising to continue to support the sector through result-oriented collaborations.
This is a great story for Nigeria. And if Ireland can play a small role in that, and our leading companies based in Ireland, and some Irish experience can be gained, and some partnerships can be built.
Operators, manufacturers, lessors, airport partners. When each stakeholder brings their strengths to the table, we collectively elevate the industry, unlock potentials, and shape the future of travel in Nigeria together.
After the goodwill messages, the CEO of Air Peace leads other special guests on a tour of the new aircraft. The visibly excited aviation stakeholders reiterate government support, private financial backing, and an assurance that this development signals good tidings for Nigeria's aviation sector.
Nigeria has reached that junction now where we are now attracting that type of confidence into our aviation sector. And that is a precursor to empowering our local operators. Not only that, we must thank Air Peace, because apart from the effort of government, they also looked at the balance sheet of Air Peace.
The government has done a lot to increase the capacity of airlines in Nigeria. This is why Air Peace is today celebrating this with the biggest lessor in the whole world.
From what they do and how they handle this, it will also be an opportunity for the entire aviation industry. And of course, Fidelity Bank could be at the leading edge, approaching it in a very calculated manner, as we've always done, and as we've done with Air Peace.
With Air Peace Airlines' successful acquisition of the new Boeing 737-700 NG aircraft, the company says it is poised to continue to deliver world-class services to its esteemed passengers.
Skincare meets high fashion as global skincare brand Nivea takes a spotlight at the Lagos Fashion Week, reintroducing its black and white anti-stain formula through a dynamic paneled conversation on style, confidence, and personal hygiene. With bold discussions and innovative product messaging, Nivea is reshaping the narrative around what it describes as the invisible side of style.
Come to my house this night.
True style takes on a new meaning at the 15th edition of Lagos Fashion Week as global skincare giant Nivea steps onto the runway, spotlighting an often overlooked truth. Confidence and hygiene go hand in hand.
Perfumes
alone. During a panel discussion tagged The Invisible Side of Style, fashion insiders and skincare experts tackle how poor hygiene can disrupt even the most polished outfit, affecting both comfort and self-assurance.
It prevents the yellow and brown stains on your clothes. You won't get that. And you won't get the white residue. So it's completely invisible. It leaves no stains, leaves no residue, and that protects your clothes. So your clothes, when you invest money in high fashion, like these wonderful panelists, you don't want your clothes to be ruined, right?
At the heart of the discussion is one of Nivea's key innovations, the black and white anti-stain formula. The technology is designed to protect clothing from stains and fabric damage while caring for the skin.
It's great to wear amazing wigs. It's great to have your makeup on fleek. It's great to have your dress looking stunning. I would say whenever you show up, be memorable. However, your hygiene is the #1 step. It doesn't matter how great you look. If people cannot breathe beside you, then that's not great. So I always say that take care of yourself.
My advanced moisturizing lotion, these are products that we're using, and then when we put on the outfit, that's like the final layer, the final armor. And I know that for me, my outfit, the best part of my outfit is not my dress, it's not my bag, it's not my shoes, it's my confidence. And my confidence is inspired by my invisible style.
For me, I use my deodorants simultaneously as when I moisturize. And obviously, I can't wear any outfits until I'm properly moisturized. So you know that definitely you're not missing that out. So that's my major mantra for avoiding something like that.
You know, it's all about fashion, it's all about style, but there's actually an invisible layer that people don't see. So it's all about the moisturization, it's all about the roll-on hygiene. It's very, very important that people use roll-on before they step out. It's very important. So maybe roll-on, sprays, whatever your choice is, it's up to you. Nivea has a range of products, you know, that will help you deliver that. We also have moisturizers that would also help you. We have sunscreen. So there's a lot of things that people don't see before you actually step out in style.
By merging skincare and style, Nivea reaffirms that confidence isn't just about what you wear, it's how you care. In a world that celebrates bold fashion, the invisible side of style may be the most powerful of all.
And let's delve into the world of business. Joke Rajas is standing by.
Thank you, and welcome to Business News. Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves have surged to their highest level since October 11, 2018, after hitting $43.3 billion this week. That's according to the latest data from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The latest accretion in the country's external buffer is attributed to sustained foreign exchange inflows and improved investor confidence following the government's fiscal and monetary reforms. Meanwhile, analysts at the FSCH Merchant Bank project that the external reserves would soon climb to a 7-year high of $46.07 billion, following the successful issuance of Eurobonds that attracted an overwhelming subscription of more than $13 billion. Nigeria remains open for business as restructuring continues across all sectors to ensure stability and clarity of policies, investor engagements and transparent incentives for manufacturers, exporters and small businesses. That's coming from President Bola Tinubu, who says his administration has attracted at least $5 billion in new manufacturing, fintech and energy investments since it came on board 2 years ago. The president made the comments at the 39th edition of the Lagos International Fair 2025, organized by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where he was represented by the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. John Eno. He believes this strengthens Nigeria's position to continue to spearhead the African Continental Free Trade Area Initiative, even as competition intensifies with regional economic powerhouses. President Tinubu describes the AFCFTA as the most ambitious economic project in modern Africa, creating a market of 1.4 billion people and a GDP of 3.4 trillion. Well, the domestic stock market, which ended Friday's trading session with more than 318 billion naira loss in overall valuation of listed equities. That loss forms part of the 2.8 trillion naira depreciation in equities capitalization, which has dominated the first week of November. The sell-offs are primarily attributed to the federal government's proposed 25% capital gains tax set to take effect in January 2026, which will apply to profits above 150 billion naira threshold. Laddie Williams has more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, first week of November, that's done and dusted, but not to the green. 5 days of losses. And we see the all-share index for the TGIF trade, 0.33% down, losing the 150,000 points level. Market cap, 94 trillion. Let's look further now. We see the sectoral performance today. Most of the sectors that we track all in the red, with the banking counter, the biggest drop, 0.88%. Consumer goods, 0.47%. We saw some tier 1 banks there losing share price. Most of the food goods down again. So it's been a lot of sell pressure this week. Oil and gas, 0.25%. Well, before now, sell-offs wiped out roughly 1.8 trillion naira in the market value within just 4 trading sessions this month. But that's more now with the loss today. Week to date is 3% down. Question is it due to the capital gains tax increase coming in 2026, or could this just be good old profit taking?
It's also a negative close for major global bourses as AI valuation fears grip global investors amid growing concerns of a tech bubble. Let's see those closing numbers for Friday. That's business news tonight. Back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Joker. More than 2,000 flights in the United States are cancelled or delayed. Let's hear the details from Simon Puzo with other international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. More than 50 people have been injured in explosions during Friday prayers at a mosque in Indonesia, with authorities identifying a 17-year-old student as the suspected perpetrator. The incident happened at around 12:15 local time inside a school complex that housed the mosque in Kelapa Gading, a district in the capital Jakarta. The victims, mostly pupils, sustained a range of injuries, including severe burns. The suspect was also hurt, according to Indonesia's police chief. Explosions have been heard near the Sudanese capital of Khartoum, a day after the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces said it would agree to a humanitarian ceasefire. Residents in Khartoum, which is controlled by the army, said that they were awoken overnight by the sound of drones and explosions. The blasts appeared to take place near a military base and a power station in the early hours of Friday morning. US President Donald Trump has been criticized by world leaders for his stance on climate change ahead of the global COP30 summit. President Trump, who is not attending the meeting in the Amazonian city of Belém, was called a liar by the leaders of Colombia and Chile for his rejection of climate science. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer acknowledged the waning political support on climate change. He said it had been a unifying issue internationally, but today, sadly, that consensus has gone. Over the next 2 weeks, countries will try to negotiate a new deal on climate change.
Colleagues and friends, 10 years ago, the world came together in Paris, united in our determination to tackle the climate crisis. A consensus that was based on science that is unequivocal. And this unity was not just international, It was there within most of our countries. There was a cross-party consensus in the United Kingdom. The only question was how fast could we go? Today, sadly, that consensus is gone.
Multiple people have fallen ill after opening a suspicious package delivered to the base of operations for Air Force One. A spokesperson for Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, near the U.S. capital Washington, D.C., said the building the package was opened in was evacuated and those taken ill were found to be in a stable condition by medical staff. The package reportedly contained an unidentified white powder. China's most advanced aircraft carrier, the Fujian, has entered service days after a grand commissioning ceremony overseen by Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The Fujian, the country's third aircraft carrier, is equipped with electromagnetic catapults, which will allow planes to be launched at higher speeds. Its launch marked a significant step forwards for Beijing, which now has the world's largest navy in terms of sheer number of ships.
And CEO Elon Musk, with over 75% voting in favor.
Tesla boss Elon Musk has had a record-breaking pay package that could be worth nearly $1 trillion approved by shareholders. The unprecedented deal was approved by 75% of votes and drew huge applause from the audience at the firm's annual general meeting on Thursday. Mr. Musk, who is already the world's richest man, must drastically raise the electric car firm's market value over 10 years. If he does, and this meets various targets, he will be rewarded with hundreds of millions of new shares. And the Duke of Sussex has apologised to Canada for wearing a Los Angeles Dodgers hat while attending a World Series game against the Toronto Blue Jays. Prince Harry joked that he was under duress when he wore the bright blue cap during the epic Game 4 of the World Series in Los Angeles. His headgear choice upset many in Canada, as his father, King Charles, is the head of state of Canada and of 13 other Commonwealth realms.
I would like to apologise to Canada for wearing it. Secondly, I was under duress. There wasn't much choice. I was invited to the LA Dodgers box, or the dugout, by the owner himself, so I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. But I'm going to wear this from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those mistakes. But the other piece of this was, as you could probably relate, when you're missing a lot of hair on top and you're sitting under floodlights, you'll take any hat that's available.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. 150 golfers from within and outside the country will compete at the 50th Ikoyi Ladies Open Tournament, holding from November the 12th to the 14th at the golf course of the Ikoyi Club 1938 in Lagos. At the press conference to herald the 3-day tournament, the organizers say the interest from elite golfers that cut across Africa, the U.S., and Europe underlines the prestige of the tournament as a premier tournament on the African golf circuit.
Over the years, the golf course of Ikoyi Club 1938 has been a proud host of Ikoyi Ladies Open tournaments. This year, it will again be the proud host of the Golden Jubilee edition of the prestigious Ladies Open golf event. As the golfers brace up for the competition, which tees off on November the 12th, the hosts bring together the media, partners, golfers as they unveil what's in stock in this historic edition.
The picture is a legacy event. The 50th is an R&A, a registered international, well, in this case, an amateur golf ranking event. And what that means is that you have people worldwide who can attend your event and be ranked globally. And that is what makes this event, amongst other events in different golf sections, to be a salient and important event for any lady who wants to attend an open.
The chairman of Ikoyi Club 1938, Akiwumi Akintola, is proud of the ladies' golf section of the club for sustaining the amateur golf event for 5 decades.
The Ladies Open is not just a sporting event. It represents friendship, discipline, and the enduring spirit of competition that defines our club. Through the years, it has provided a platform for women golfers to showcase their talent, foster camaraderie, and strengthen the bonds that unite members of the golfing community.
The successes achieved at the Ikoyi Ladies Open has endeared partners to the Golden Jubilee edition.
It's something that aligns with our values. We really our values include care, integrity, and diversity. So we're very proud to be associated with the 50th Ikoyi Ladies Open Tournament, and we will continue to do so.
With the media briefing done and dusted, the stage is set for another stiff competition. One winner from golfers across 11 nations will go home with Golden Jubilee Trophy.
Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie has been nominated for the FIFA Best Women's Goalkeeper Award. Nnadozie had a remarkable campaign last season where she inspired her former club Paris FC to their first title in almost 20 years, and also crucial to Nigeria's 10th WAFCON triumph in Morocco. That's it on Sports News, and back to you.
Thank you, Olumide. And the main news again. The Federal High Court in Abuja has set November 20 for judgment in Nnamdi Kanu's alleged terrorism case after failing to open his defense. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Omawado. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night.